This is our balance exercise class, and today is session number 4, which also means it's our last class. It's gone by really fast, and I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Today's class, you are going to need a pillow or a small cushion of some kind. If you don't have a small cushion, you can also use like a ball that you can hold in your hand or something small that you can hold in your hand. And then optional, if you do have a resistance band of some sort, so one of these, you can grab them now. If you don't have one, that's okay too. You don't necessarily need it, but if you have it, that would be great. You can put it beside you. And then I will walk you through when we might be using that. But again, to reiterate, if you don't have a resistance band, absolutely fine. Don't worry, we don't have to have it. It's optional. If you do have it, then we can put it aside for the moment. So in previous weeks, we spoke about balance being something that's complex in the sense that multiple things contribute to your balance or lack of balance. And so in this class, we're really focused on the physical aspect of things that we can try to change. So for example, the strength in your legs, our body's ability to react to when our base of support is changing, and us keeping our center of gravity on top of our moving base of support. And so that's what we're mainly focusing on in this class. But of course, balance is very complex. There's lots of things that could be involved. It could things contributing to it could be your medication on and off schedule, perhaps environmental factors. For example, if you have lots of loose rugs or things on the floor or furniture in awkward angles where you might, trip on something or have too little space to turn, that kind of stuff can also impact your balance. But again, in this class, we're specifically focusing on the bits that we can try to make a change. We're trying to keeping our base of support a little bigger when we're walking. So rather than small shuffly feet, we're going for bigger steps in order to help our center of gravity stay within or on top of our base of support at all times. So with that said, what we're going to do today is we will review some of the exercises and concepts that we've gone over in the previous weeks, and then we will add on to it a little bit today as well. Okay, I think everyone's in the from the waiting room are now in the room, which is good. I might come up to the screen every now and then just to let more people in. But if that happens, try to continue on with whatever exercise we're doing. Okay, you have a stand up. So today we are going to start with our warm-up. And if you've been here before, you'll remember our warm-up. We did the weight shifting movement, which is what we're going to try to do today again to warm up. Now, before we start, we're going to just focus in on our posture for a moment or two. We're going to stand nice and tall, and I really want you to imagine you're pressing all 10 toes, both heels and both soles of your feet deep down into the ground. So you're really applying pressure to the entire surface area of the bottom of your feet. And you're imagining that you're pressing the soles of your feet deep into the earth as if you're growing roots into the ground. And at the same time, I want you to think about this growth, this vertical growth, where you're lengthening your spine. The crown of the head is reaching up towards the ceiling. At the same time, you're pressing your soles deep into the ground. So it's like we're doing this kind of vertical lengthening, like your body's made out of Play-Doh and someone's kind of grabbed you from both the top and bottom and they're pulling you, reaching you vertically up and down towards the floor. Keep going. I'm just going to let someone in from the waiting room. So the entire time we're doing this class, we're really going to think about this posture, this lengthening, So not only do we want to think up towards the ceiling, but we also want to think down towards the floor. So this kind of pull, this in opposition, this kind of lengthening of our spine in both directions. Stay where you are. I'm just going to turn sideways. So now that we've kind of lengthened in both directions, going up and down, we're now going to close our eyes. Of course, this is optional. If you don't want to close your eyes, that's okay too. But if you would like to, you can join me and close your eyes. And while maintaining this posture, we're going to now weight shift to the front of our feet. And then we're going to weight shift to the back of our feet. And you're going to keep repeating that. So just like last time, you're doing this kind of forward and backward sway, kind of like your body is an inverted pendulum. And the entire body is swaying forward to the front of your feet and then swaying back. And I want you to go as far as you can in each direction without losing your balance or having to take a step to save your balance. So what we're playing around with here is the limit of your base of support. So base of support, in this case, your feet. I say in this case because if you were sitting down, for example, your base of support would be your feet and your hips. Or if you're leaning onto something like a kitchen counter as you're reaching for a tall cupboard, then your base of support will be your feet and your hands, for example. But of course, in this case, base of support is our feet. And you're playing around with moving your center of gravity over the top of your base of support. And you're playing around with the limits of your base of support. So how far can you sway forward and how far can you sway back before losing your balance or having to take a step to save your balance? So we don't want to be perturbed off of our base of support. We just want to play around with this kind of weight shift. And of course, the entire time you're trying to be nice and tall, like what we said earlier, where the crown of the head is reaching up towards the ceiling. Keep going. I'm just going to turn to face you. Now, remember we mentioned optional eyes closed. So if you are doing it with eyes closed, great. If not, that's okay too. Every now and then, you're more than welcome to shut your eyes and see if you can really feel where your base of support is. Let's try doing the same thing, but now we're going side to side. And again, optional if you want to keep your eyes closed still. And now that we're moving side to side, we're weight shifting from side to side, you can probably feel that it's much easier going side to side. And part of that is because your base of support is wider because your feet are apart. So your base of support is basically like if you drew a circle around your feet, that would be your base of support. Whereas when we were going forward and backwards, our base of support was only the length of your actual foot itself. And so it's much harder going forward and backwards because of that decreased base of support, whereas going side to side as you're swaying as big as you can, of course, trying to test the limits of your base of support, you'll notice it's much easier. And so this is something to keep in mind. As you're moving around, if you ever feel like your balance is really unsteady and you just feel like you're going to fall, chances are if you increase your base of support, you'll probably feel a little steadier. Although as I say that, I almost just fell over sideways. Okay, so same thing now. We're going to try going in a circle. So you can still keep your eyes closed, or if you don't want to, you can have your eyes open. I'm keeping my eyes open every now and then so I can see you, but you're trying to now do a big circle over your base of support. And remember, it's a circle, not an oval, not a square, not a diamond. So you want to be really even across the board as you're drawing the circle. And just like before, you're trying to go as big as you can, feeling where the limits of your base of support would be without you falling over or having to take a step to save your balance. And like I mentioned before, the reason we're practicing this kind of testing of our base of support limits, if you will, is because balance, in the most simple way to explain it, is our body's ability to keep our center of gravity on top of our base of support, no matter what we're doing, whether we're, walking, turning, standing up, sitting down, going up and down stairs, whatever it is we're doing, if you can keep your center of gravity on top of your base of support, you will stay balanced. And so we're trying to really feel and test this kind of base of support limit. Let's try going a circle in the other direction now. So whatever direction you didn't do before, we're now doing that direction. Trying to draw the circle, not oval, as big as you can. Good. Ooh, very nice, everybody. As big as you can without losing your balance or having to take a step to save your balance. Let's try now to see if you can write your first and last name using the swing. Your feet are anchored into the floor, you're nice and tall, and you're going to write your name, your first and last name, as big as you can without losing your balance or without having to take a step to save your balance. And of course, you can keep your eyes closed for this. Nice, everyone's looking good. If you have a really short first and last name like I do, you can do it twice. But once you've done it twice, you can open your eyes and we'll move on to the next exercise. Nicely done, everybody. Really feel where your base of support and your center of gravity are in relation to each other. Okay, when you're finished, open your eyes. So let's move on to our next exercise. You might remember this from last time. We're going to do a reactive clock face exercise. So as you're standing here, you're going to imagine you're standing in the middle of a gigantic clock face. Okay, so imagine a big clock face on the floor and you're stepping right in the middle where that dot is before the hands of the clock come out. And so because you're standing in the middle of the clock face, 12 o'clock would be right in front of you. 6 o'clock will be right behind you. 3 o'clock will be to your right. And 9 o'clock will be to your left. Now, a word of caution here. My image on Zoom might be flipped around. So, for example, my right might look like your left. So just be wary of that. For this exercise, it might be good to not look at me when we're doing the numbers and to utilize your own clock image to step on the numbers. So 12 o'clock is in front of us, 6 o'clock right behind us, 3 o'clock is to our right, and 9 o'clock is to our left. So when I call out a number such as 2 o'clock, you would then step on the 2 o'clock spot and come back to the middle. Now the aim is, I don't want the steps to be like this. If they're this small, it's not really going to be the purpose of the exercise. I want you to imagine the clock face is very large. It fills up your entire room. So when I say 2 o'clock, for example, you're going to take a big step towards that 2 o'clock and come back. So I want to see nice, large steps, okay? Another example, if I said 9 o'clock, you would take a big step onto the 9 o'clock and come back to the middle. Now, option here, if you've done this exercise with me for the last few weeks, you are more than welcome to close your eyes and do this exercise. If you're new to this or you want to keep your eyes open, that's okay. Keep your eyes open. But I'm going to encourage you to try this now with your eyes closed. Are we ready? Here we go. 3 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Good. I see some people with their eyes closed. Very nice. 8 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Nice and big step. 1 o'clock. 8 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Keep going. I'm just letting someone in. 10 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Good. I like that. Folks have their eyes closed. 11 o'clock. 8 o'clock. 4 o'clock. 1 o'clock. 11 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 9 o'clock. 7 o'clock. And we'll stop there for a second. Okay, we're gonna add on a little bit. So now we're gonna do the same exercise, except before every single step we take, we're now going to squat like this. Squat, and then step on the number that I say. So for example, if I said 9 o'clock, you're going to do a squat, and then 9 o'clock, and come back. So if I said 3 o'clock, you do a squat and 3 o'clock. Okay, and just like before, I encourage you, if you've done this before, to close your eyes and try this exercise. If you don't want to close your eyes, of course, that's absolutely fine, but I'm going to encourage you to close your eyes if you can. Are we ready? Here we go. 6 o'clock. So remember, we go squat and then 6 o'clock. Oops, hopefully you didn't hit your back wall just like I did. 12 o'clock. Squat and then 12 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Nicely done, everybody. 4 o'clock. If you are doing the eyes closed version, you'll probably feel much more difficult now. We've got this vertical height displacement with stepping. 8 o'clock. And part of this with your eyes closed is you're really trying to maintain your center of gravity on top of your base of support through sensing where your base of support and center of gravity are. 2 o'clock. 4 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Good. Well done, everybody. Good fight for that balance. 6 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 11 o'clock. 7 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 5 o'clock. And rest for a moment. Nicely done, everybody. Good job. It's probably, you can probably feel it's harder when your eyes are closed because you can't rely on your vision now to sort of help you with your balance, but instead, you really have to feel where your center of gravity is in relation with your base of support. So if you've done that with your eyes closed, very well done. Okay, let's do a bit of a trunk movement now. We're going to start with our legs nice and wide. We're taking this from the PD Warrior exercise program, and it's called the Sky Reach, but we're modifying it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put one hand on my waist. The other hand, I'm going to make a fist. And what you're going to do here is you're going to punch down to the opposite leg, like so. And then I'm going to stand up and reach behind me. So I'm spreading my fingers nice and wide, and I'm reaching behind me like I've got something on the back wall that I'm trying to pull off. And then again, coming back around, we're going to go punch and twist back behind you. So nice open cheek trunk stretch. Again, we go punch. And rotate, spread the fingers nice and wide to reach behind you. We're going to keep repeating it on the same side for a couple of repetitions. Now, as we're doing this, if you're someone who's getting dizzy or lightheaded, just be a little careful with this one. Maybe have something nearby to hold on to, or maybe do less of a low kind of punch movement. Have the movement be a little bit higher up instead of punching down towards the outside of the ankle. You can go for, say, the outside of the knee or the hip. That works too. But it's really important here that you let your eyes follow your hand as you reach around back behind you to increase that kind of twisting motion. Just to really make sure we're nice and warmed up and stretched out before the next bit. Nicely done, everybody. Let's do 2 more on the side. Really spread out that finger. Nice and wide, the fingers on that hand reaching back. And let's switch to the other side. Same thing, you're punching to the outside of the opposite ankle, or if you can't reach, you're going for the knee, the hip, whatever you can manage is fine. It doesn't have to be quite as low as what I'm doing. And again, you're more than welcome to hold on to something if you need. Try to plant your feet into the ground. We're really thinking about that nice posture, spreading the fingers out nice and wide, reaching behind you. Nicely done, everybody. Twisting behind you, really stretch, let your gaze follow. Good, let's do 2 more. Hopefully your trunk is nice and warm. 1 more. Reach. And rest for a moment. Okay, we're going to use a wall now. So if you have a wall, ideally without paintings and pictures and things like that on it, just because we're going to lean back into the wall. So if you do have pictures, it's okay too, but just be careful. I don't want you to snag your skin on anything on the wall. So ideally nothing on the wall. And what you're going to do is you're going to stand with your back against the wall, so your hips are on the wall and your back is on the wall directly. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bring your arms up into like a W shape, like the letter W. So you can see my arms form the letter W. And from here, you're going to spread the fingers wide open. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades back into the wall. So squeezing your shoulder blades together as if there's a pencil between your shoulder blades, and you're trying to crunch it, and you're trying to press the entire length of the arms back into the wall and relax. And you're going to do that again. Squeezing back, pressing the back of your arms into the wall and relax. Keep going. I'm going to just show you from here. So if you look at my back, I'm squeezing. Can you see that? I'm squeezing my shoulder blades back as if there's a pencil there and I'm crushing that pencil. Keep going. I'm going to squeeze back. My hands pressing into the wall. And again, squeezing back, trying to get the back of the shoulders and upper back onto the wall and your arms as well. And then relax. Let's do 2 more and then we'll add on. Squeezing back to really get the back of the arms and the upper back onto the wall. And relax. 1 more. Here we go. Squeezing back. And relax. Okay, we're going to add on. So now I'm going to bring my hands up to the Y shape. So see how my arms and body make the letter Y? Same thing, I'm going to squeeze my arms back into the wall, and I'm going to pull the arms down from the Y shape into a W shape, as if I'm dusting the wall behind me, using the entire length of the back of the arms. And then I'm going to bring the arms back up to the Y shape. I'm still trying to keep my arms against the wall at all times. And I'm pulling them down into the W shape. Keep going. Join me if you haven't yet. Y shape. Try to keep the back of your arms onto the wall and then pull the arms down into the W shape. You're really lengthening your neck, pressing the entire back onto the wall and the back of the arms. Pulling down to the Y again. Yes, good job, everybody. I know this one's tough and it feels a little funny, especially if you got a stiff upper back. Keep going, pulling the arms down into that W shape. Back up, pulling down, and let's relax the arms for a second. You can shake them out, shake out your shoulders a little bit. We're gonna do one more round of that. Okay, ready? We're gonna go for 10. Here we go. Arms up into the Y shape. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Press the arms back into the wall. Keep them against the wall. Pull, 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 pull your elbows into the W shape. Good. Back up to the Y shape. Nicely done. Now again, like you're dusting the wall with the back of your arms. Nice long neck. Good. Pulling back down. Nicely done, everybody. Hopefully you're still breathing. Don't hold your breath. Pulling down with the elbows, thinking about dusting the wall with the back of your arms. Hopefully your hips are still on the wall. Nicely done. Keep going. Pulling down. Pushing up. 4 more. Pulling down. Pushing up. 3 more. Pulling down. Pushing up. 2 more. Pulling down. Pushing up. Squeezing back. Last one. Pulling down. Pushing up. And relax those arms. Shake them out. Move your shoulders around a little bit. Get them stretched out. Nicely done. Okay. Let's go on into a bit of our strengthening exercise. So I'm going to pull a chair here so I can hold on to the chair. Then we're going to take your resistance band, whatever kind you've got. If you have ones with handles like this, you can just put your foot through. If you've got ones like an actual band, I want you to tie into a circle like this, and you kind of put it around your ankles like that, okay? So you would have a loop, you can see on my feet here, around your ankles, or if it's the kind with a little handle on it, you can just loop that handle through your foot like that, or ankle, whatever is more comfortable. And if you don't have a band, don't worry, absolutely fine. You can do this without a resistance band. But here's what I'm going to do. If you have the one with the handle like so, you're going to have to hold the band up like this, and then hold on to it with your hand as you're grabbing onto a chair or dining table, whatever you're using. If you've got the bands like this that you just looped around your ankles, easy, you're done. You don't need to do anything else, just keep it on your ankles like so. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to hold on to something in front of us for balance. So don't try to do this without holding on, because we really want to make sure that we're not going to trip over our band if you're using one. So we're standing nice and tall, holding onto the chair, keeping our spine long. You're going to hinge forward at the spine a little bit. So you can see, if you look at my back for a moment, when I hinge forward, can you see my spine is so long? So this movement is not the same as this. So I'm not crunching forward like this. I'm still staying up nice and tall, but I'm just hinging forward a tiny bit at my waist, or sorry, at my hips. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring one leg back behind me like so, and then I'm going to touch it back down. My toes are coming down to the floor, but I'm not actually relaxing the leg. I'm just touching the foot back down. So again, I'm going lift up and down, depending on how long your band is. This one's a pretty short one, so you probably can't see me lift very much. Let me use my other one. So that way it's more obvious on the screen in case the video is small on anyone's end. So again, I'm going to lift up and touching the toes down. Lift up, oops, touching the toes down. So as I'm doing this, What you don't want is your back to kind of get involved. We want to keep our back exactly where it is. Not that I'm suggesting anyone's doing what I just did. I'm exaggerating here, but you're leaning forward slightly and keeping your spine nice and long. You can see the only thing moving in this case is my leg. So I'm using my bottom muscles here to lift that leg up behind me, and then I'm lowering it back down, hovering it, not actually touching the floor. Although my toes might be able to touch the floor, but I'm not actually relaxing the leg. And you're trying not to open your hip out to the side either. You want both fronts of the hips to keep facing forward. Keep going. Hopefully you joined me already. Keep going. You're really thinking about tummy muscles tucked in to brace so that you're not using your back for this. And you're lifting that leg back behind you and lower. The only thing moving is that leg. You're using your bottom muscles to help you with that. Last 10. 9. Breathe. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1, and rest. You might have felt that in your standing leg, and that's absolutely fine too. I'm just gonna let someone in from the waiting room here. So we're gonna try that again on the same leg. We're gonna do one more round on that same leg. And remember, the entire time you're doing this, you're really thinking about your posture. We're trying not to crunch through the back, and we're trying not to turn the hip. We wanna keep the hip squared, facing forward the entire time. Whoops. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Lean forward slightly. Here we go. 1, 2, using that hip muscle to lift your leg up. Keep your hips facing forward. Here's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last 5. Here we go. 5, 4. I thought we were done. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake it out. Shake out your legs for a second. We're gonna try the other leg now. So remember, for those who may have just joined, if you don't have a resistance band, absolutely fine. You don't need to have one. This is optional if you wanted to. Oh, let me turn around. Okay, so on the other side, same thing. If you have one of these handles, you're putting the handle around the foot. If you have one of these flat bands and you tie it into a circle, you just loop it around your ankle, and that's it. You don't have to hold anything. Okay, so just like before, nice and tall, you're going to hinge forward slightly from your hips, but your back stays nice and long. So not this is very different, but this, nice and long. Then from here, you're going to bring that leg back, and we're going to go lift and hover, lift and hover. So I'm not putting the foot back down, but I'm kind of touching my toes down, hovering. And the entire time I'm doing this, my back and trunk will not move. So I'm not going like this. With my back, I'm keeping my back still, just the leg. The movement itself is coming from the hip, the back of the hip. And as I'm doing this, I also want to make sure my hip isn't turning out to the side. I want to keep my hips facing forward the entire time. Nice and controlled with the movement. Nicely done, everybody. Keep going. Breathing. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest for a second. You can shake out the legs if you need. You might have felt it on your other supporting leg, and that's okay. We're going to go for another round. Last round of 15. You ready? Hinging forward at the hips just ever so slightly, keeping your tummy muscles tucked in to help you keep nice and strong with your posture. Here we go. Lift. using the back of the thigh to help you with that lift. Good, nicely done, everybody. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake out those legs. Nicely done, everybody. Don't put your bands away yet. You're still gonna need it. We're just now going in a different direction. So if you got one of these bands that are tied into circles and you're putting it around your ankle, you're done. That's it. You keep it around your ankle. If you've got the bands with the handles, like the one I'm demonstrating with, you again will loop your foot through the handle on one side and just pull it up towards your hip and hold on to, say, a chair or a table or whatever you're using. So what we're going to do now is we're now going to go sideways. So I want the toe, if I move the chair for a minute, I want my toe and my knee to stay facing forward. So imagine I'm holding on in front of me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to lean away from that leg that's got the resistance band on it, if you're using a resistance band. And I'm going to bring that leg out to the side like this. But can you see my toes? If you look at my toes for a second, can you see my toe and my knee are facing forward? So this movement is not the same as this. I'm exaggerating, no one's doing that, but I don't want my knee to kind of turn to the side. I want my knee and my toes to stay facing. Let me keep the chair to the side so you can see me better. But you can hold on in front of you or hold on to the side away from that leg. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Lean away from that leg moving. You're going to go lift and hover back down. You're not actually bringing the foot back down to the floor, but you're hovering. Maybe your toes are tapping down slightly, but you're not actually putting weight on it. And you want your knee to be facing forward the entire time. Leaning away from that leg will help you to not have the back kind of come up as you do this movement. Nicely done, breathing. Everything completely still, just that leg moving. Nicely done, everybody. Let's go for another 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Rest for a second. You can shake out that leg or shake out the other supporting leg, whatever you need. So we're going to do that again on the same leg we just done. We're going to go for another 15 lifts. When you're ready, you're going to lean away from that leg, keeping the knee and the toes pointing forward. So we don't want to turn the leg. We want to keep it facing forward. Here we go. Last 15. Make sure the leg doesn't touch all the way down. We're kind of just hovering, or at best, your toes kind of graze the floor, but we're not actually putting the foot back down. Nicely done, everybody. Breathing. You've got 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake out the legs, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just like before, you're going to lean away from that leg. You're keeping your knees and your toes facing forward. Are we ready? Keeping your back nice and strong, so we don't want to be arching through the back as we lift. Here we go. Lift and hover. Oops, let me know away. Lift and hover. Lift and hover. Lean away from that leg. We'll give you more room. Good. We done. Lean away from that leg that's moving. Last 10, here we go. Remember, the leg is hovering, not touching down. 9, 8, back still. 7, knees facing forward. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest for a second. Shake out the legs. I'm just gonna make sure no one's stuck in the waiting room. No, we're good. Okay. I thought I maybe saw a little pop-up saying somebody's stuck in the waiting room, but never mind. Okay, we're gonna do one last round of 15 here. Are you ready? Here we go. Lean away from that leg, remember. Here we go. Knees forward, go. 1. Hover down. 2. 3. Breathing. Don't hold your breath. 4. Lean away from that leg. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 5 left. You got 5. 4. 3. 2. 1, and shake it out. You can get rid of the band. Very, very well done. Okay, I'm going to put the band away now, and you're now going to grab your little cushion or pillow, or if you don't have something like a cushion, you can use like a small ball, anything else that you can hold in both hands relatively easily. And ideally nothing heavy unless you want an additional challenge, then in which case, if you really, really want to, you can absolutely use something a little heavier, but just be careful, and you'll see why in a second. So here's what I'm going to do. Watch me. I want to make sure there's some space in front of me because I'm going to travel forwards and backwards for this. So watch. I'm holding onto the cushion. I'm going to do 2 lunges forward like this. Lunge. And when I lunge, I'm gonna stay nice and tall on my spine, and I'm gonna bring that cushion around my torso. Stand back up. Other leg, lunge. Bring that cushion around my torso. Stand up. Now I'm gonna do the same thing backwards. I'm gonna lunge back, but this time I'm gonna go throw and catch. I'm gonna throw the cushion as high as I can and catch without losing my balance. Step together. Same thing. Lunge back, throw, and catch. Now, really important, if you're finding that your balance is challenged, which hopefully it is, but what you can do is have a kitchen counter or wall on one side. So as you're kind of traveling through, you can hold on if you need, because I do want you to be careful and not fall, even though we're practicing our balance here. So if you are holding on, what you can do is use the pillow around your body and then see if you can let go for a second and bring it back around. Same thing when you go back. If throwing and catching is too difficult, just go up in the air and come down without actually throwing and catching. But the whole point is we're kind of doing this upward movement to try to challenge your balance a little bit. Last point that I want to mention is when you're doing the lunge, if you want to do a step instead, that's okay. You can do a step, but really important, we are not doing a step like this. This is too small. And in fact, doing steps like this might actually cause you to fall because the step is so small that the likelihood is your trunk, your center of gravity is going to go way beyond where your base of support is, then you might actually fall in a certain direction. So if you're stepping, you're going for a big step. Go forward and backwards when you're doing this. And hold on to something if you need, okay? Let's try it together. Are you ready? Here we go. We're gonna go lunge forward. Wrap that cushion around your trunk. Stand back up. Other leg lunge or step. Bring that cushion around you. Remember, you're going for a really big step. We're doing the same thing backwards. Here we go, lunge. Hold that balance as you throw and catch that cushion. Hold that balance. Step together. Other leg, lunge or step. Throw and catch. Good. Keep going in your own time. Really think about maintaining your balance as you're moving your cushion and your arms here. Regardless of whether you're doing an actual lunge or a step, either way, you're going for large base of support. So large step or large lunge, whichever version you're doing. And of course, if you're holding on to something, you might not actually be able to throw the cushion, and that's okay, but you're really aiming for these kind of big traveling forward and backward steps. If you can, do the throw on the way back. I encourage you to throw as high as you can, almost like you want the cushion to graze or hit the ceiling. Nicely done, everybody. Good. I see lots of cushions going up in the air, so I assume you're throwing them. Good. Keep going. Remember, you're going for big steps. The bigger the steps, the better, because if your steps are too small, you're actually going to be even less balanced. Nicely done, everybody. Good. Well done, everybody. Keep maybe another 30 seconds. Aim for big steps or lunges. Circling that cushion around you. If you need to hold on, hold on. Absolutely fine. Please don't feel discouraged. This is meant to be challenging. Good, nicely done. Last round, wherever you are, finish the round. And let's stop there. Nicely done, everybody. Okay. We are going to do one last exercise. It's a little bit of a game, although I say game means it's fun. It might not be fun to some people. I don't know. We'll see. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a dual task activity now to finish off the class. So a dual task activity is when you're doing a physical movement of some sort and we're pairing it with a cognitive task. So an example of that would be if you were to walk down the street and you're talking to someone at the same time, that would be dual task because you're doing cognitive function while doing a physical movement. So what we're going to do here is I'll show you the physical movement first, and then I'll talk about the cognitive aspect of it. So you need that same kind of walkway again so you can travel, but this time we're going sideways. And you can absolutely hold on. You can face a wall and hold on as you're going along, or a kitchen counter, whatever you need. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a grapevine sideways. And so it looks like this. I'm going to step sideways, step behind, but I'm still traveling, step sideways, step in front. So that's a grapevine where you kind of keep crisscrossing. Same thing. I'm going step side, step behind, step side, step in front, step side, step behind, step side, step in front, all the way across. So remember, hold on to something if you need, or if you're really good at this, you can close your eyes as you're doing that. Now, as you're doing this grapevine walking, you're also going to be doing a cognitive task. So what you're going to do as you're doing this grapevine is you're going to say out loud, don't worry, you're on mute, no one will actually hear you, but you're going to say out loud, you're going to name animals starting from the letter A down the alphabet to Z. So for example, animal that starts with the letter A, as I'm doing this, I might say ant here, and then I go B. A baboon, C, I go cheetah, etc., etc. So you keep repeating this movement with your eyes open or closed as you verbally say out loud animals starting from the letter A down the alphabet to Z. Does that sort of make sense? Thumbs up if you get it. Thumbs down if you want me to explain again. Okay, I see some thumbs up. Good. Okay, wonderful. Let's try it. So you're all on mute, so don't worry, no one will hear you. But you're gonna aim for animals from the letter A down the alphabet to Z. Are you ready? Here we go. Let's do the movement. Make sure you keep moving. You can have your eyes open or eyes closed, whatever works for you. You can hold on to something in front of you if you like. If you get really good at this, you can do it faster. Okay, I'm going to be quiet now so you can concentrate. Saying as loud as you can. Few more seconds. Okay, let's stop there. How far did we get? Thumbs up if you finished, thumbs down if you didn't. Okay, so I see some thumbs up. That's good. I never know how much time to give because it really depends on whether you know your animals or not. But the idea is you can try these kind of dual task challenges on a daily basis. It could be with anything. It could be while you're grocery shopping and you're looking at your, grocery list, and at the same time you can say as many I don't know, girl names as you can think of from the letter Z back up to A, or you can count backwards from 100 in sevens. You can name as many things that are the color red, or things like that. So the idea is you're trying to get your brain to multitask and do more than one thing at a time, specifically pairing cognition with physical tasks. And the reason this is important is you'll often find with Parkinson's, your ability to do more than one thing at a time, especially when it's paired with something physical, gets worse over time, or it deteriorates. And so you'll find yourself unable to, say, walk and talk at the same time, or if you're holding a conversation, you stop moving, things like that. And the reason that's important to work on is because specific things like freezing, as an example, even though it manifests as a physical issue, it actually stems from a cognitive place where your brain can't divert attention to more than one thing at a time. So by practicing these things, you can get better at it, and it makes your movements easier. And you might find that it helps with certain aspects of your balance, especially if your balance is mostly affected in busy environments. You'll find that having the ability to get your brain to concentrate on more than one thing at a time is really helpful to train to improve that aspect. So let's do some stretching to finish. But hopefully you can see what I mean about how balance is very multifactorial. There's lots of different things that kind of affect your balance more so than just, your ability to stand on one leg or, your ability to sit to stand or things like that. Okay, so one leg in front, one leg behind, hold on to a wall or a table or whatever you have for balance. And you're trying to reach the back heel down towards the floor, really push that back knee straight. You should feel a stretch in the back calf muscle. If not, you can move that leg back further, whatever is easier. And let's switch sides. Same thing on the other leg. The front leg is bent, the back leg is straight. You're trying to reach that back heel towards the floor. Next one, we're going to do a thigh stretch. You have two options. I'll show you both. First option is if you're really flexible and you're able to, you can grab your foot and pull it up towards your bottom, have your knees be in one line and push your hips forward. You should feel a stretch in the front thigh. If that's too difficult, don't worry. What you can do is you can grab a chair and put it behind you. Same thing. Now you're putting your foot onto the chair behind you, your knees in one line, and you're going to push your hips forward and you'll feel that stretch in the front of the thigh as well. So whichever version works for you is absolutely fine. Breathing as you're stretching. And let's switch sides. So you can either hold on to your foot and pull it towards your bottom, or you can place it on a chair behind you, whatever is easier for you to do, but at the same time, hopefully challenging enough that you actually feel a stretch. Nicely done. And relax the leg. We're going to stand with our legs wide, arms up to the side. And we're going to bend down to the side, and you're trying to reach those arms away from you. You should hopefully feel a stretch on the outside of your trunk. Keep your chest facing forward if possible, so don't let yourself turn down to the floor, but you want to keep your chest nice and open. Coming back up, drop the arms for a second. We're going to float them back up. Same to the other side. Reaching those arms away. Coming back up. This time you're going to bring your hands forward. I'm going to step forward a little bit. You're going to open your arms to the back like so. Twisting around nice and gentle. Letting your gaze follow your arm to help you gain a little bit more of that rotation stretch, but you're standing up nice and tall as you're doing this. Try not to slouch. We're thinking about our spine kind of like a corkscrew where you're twisting but on the spot, if that makes sense. Good, nicely done. And we'll drop the arms for a second. We're going to do a quick last bit check. We're going to stand nice and tall. I'm going to get you to close your eyes. And once again, like before, you're going to write your first and last name using our weight shift, our inverted pendulum sways that we did in the beginning. You're going to write your first and last name as big as you can with your eyes closed. And just feel whether this is different to when you first did it at the beginning of the class. Does it feel easier? Do you feel like you're moving bigger? Maybe so, maybe not. Either way, it's okay. We're just kind of observing what our body is doing now compared to the beginning of the class. Just write your first and last name twice as big as you can using the swing, this weight shift swing. Just reflecting on how this is feeling compared to at the beginning of the class. And once you finish, you can open your eyes, stand nice and tall, rounding the soles of your feet into the ground, like you're growing roots. Seeing if you can press the floor away from you to grow even taller. As tall and as lengthened as you can be. Crown of the head reaching for the ceiling. Breath in. Bring your arms all the way up, stretching as high as you can. Extending your spine even further to the ceiling. And breathing out, let everything drop back down. Very well done, everybody. Thank you for joining me today for our final balance exercise series. I hope you found the class enjoyable, and I hope that you were able to learn something new from it. So remember, with balance, in a nutshell, we essentially want to keep our center of gravity on top of our moving base of support at all times. So thinking about all the strategies that we've learned in the last 4 sessions together, if you were ever feeling like you're falling in a certain direction, the first thing you want to do is widen your base of support in that direction. So if you're falling forward, you're taking a big step in that direction you're falling in order to widen your base of support and trying to catch your center of gravity in the middle of your base of support. Same with if you're ever falling backward, the bigger the step you can take, the more likely you'll catch your center of gravity in the middle of your base of support, because that's how you stay balanced. You want your center of gravity to be on top of your base of support at all times, regardless of what you're doing. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's it. Thank you very, very much for being here today. In April, we have our voice aerobics exercise class, although I say exercises for your voice, but exercises for your voice if you're looking for that. And I am also teaching the April Challenger exercise class. This is a level 3 class, meaning that it's high intensity. But if you want to try and you want to challenge yourself with a little bit of level 3, you are more than welcome to sign up for that and see how you do. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you. Bye.